Okay, Gun Collector 007 here with just a really quick video, and this one, as the title says, is the tiniest gun in my collection. And if you guys have been watching my channel for a while, you know I tend to favor guns on the smallish side. I have a lot of 380s, a lot of snub nose revolvers, and although I have, a few or a lot of large guns, most of my guns, again, are on the small pocket carry size guns, or even mouse guns, you'd call them. But I was in a local gun shop the other day buying something else, and I came across this one, and I just had to pick it up because I thought it was kind of unique. This one is something called a Sport Arms Derringer, and it's called a Twist Derringer. And it's definitely the smallest gun in my collection. Prior to that, I would say this North American Arms 22 Magnum was the smallest gun, but if you look at them side by side, this new one here is just a little bit bigger lengthwise, but what I liked about it was the width of it is really, really tiny. You see that? It's really just a flat gun. So I thought I could just stick this like in a pocket, and I actually have carried this for the last couple of days in a pocket, and so I think it qualifies as the smallest gun that I own. And so here's how this gun works, and it's a little beat up. This is from the 80s. It was made in Miami, Florida. It was a bunch of, you might call them Saturday Night Special type of guns. This was something, there was a few companies. There was one called CDM Industries out of New York. There was another company called ESTULE, made in North Carolina. They made something called a Twist 2 Derringer, and then this was Sport Arms, again, out of Miami, Florida. So the way this works is this is first off a single action gun. So to fire this gun, you have to cock it back, and then you depress the trigger. And to make this work, what you need to do is you turn this on the side. These are spent rounds, by the way. These are not live rounds in here. So these are from some Aguila subsonic that I fired, and it's just to give you an idea of how these work. And as you can see, this barrel rotates, and to make it rotate all the way, there's a little twist button or a little button on the bottom, and that's what spins the barrel around. So basically you take this, and again, here's your spent shells. So I'm not dealing with live ammo right here, and you can see there are two barrels right there, and this will hold either a 22 short or a 22 long rifle. So far I've shot, actually, it also will hold a 22 quiet, which is an Aguila subsonic, like I said. So it can hold three. So far, I've just shot the subsonic, and I did do a couple of 22 shorts. These are 22 shorts. You can see how tiny these are. So these are, possibly the weakest round made. Next to it would be something else that can fire, is the 22 LR, which everyone knows. I haven't tried that yet. But, in comparison, you could see it's definitely a lot bigger than the 22 short, if you look at them right there. So, this is, again, it's more of a novelty. It's not something I'm really going to carry. It could be used as a backup, but it would be really extremely difficult to fire this gun on the first shot, and definitely more difficult to fire it on the second shot. So the way it works now that the gun is totally empty is, let's say it was loaded. To fire the gun, you have to cock it back all the way, release the trigger, and that would let off the round. Then you would push this button on the side here, and you would rotate this all the way around, recock the hammer, and then fire it again to get the second shot off. And then to get the shells out, as you see, it's a little bit of a difficulty. You'd have to carry some kind of a ramrod or something to pop the empty casings out. But looking at the front of this, some people think this is like, or these type of guns, fire two at once or even three, but you can see the center is just an axis rod going through there that lets this cylinder travel 180 degrees or 360 degrees actually. So it's kind of, again, an interesting gun. It's less than $100, so I had to pick it up. The grips are in really good condition, so I don't have to do anything with that. I did clean it. I think originally, again, it was in gold, so I might just use a a Scotch Brite and just take the rest of this gold finish off and just, you know, bring it down to its, stainless steel coloring. I think that's probably what I'm going to do. But it does also have a patina, and maybe I'll just do nothing. So kind of an interesting gun. The next size up that I have from that would be something like, you know, this 38 caliber Derringer. It's also unloaded. This Derringer, now to show you the difference, this shoots 38 special ammo. So look at the difference between, you know, 22 short, 22 LR, and then you have 38 special, and then actually before that on the North American Arms you have the 22 Magnum. That's what this one right here shoots. So, you know, it's a variety of different ammo, but I'd say the 22 short again is the weakest one out there. This one is definitely more powerful. It's also extremely excruciating to shoot this one. To keep a hold on this little FIE Derringer is definitely not a fun thing. You shoot it once or twice at the range, and then you want to put it away and just keep it in the safe. So again, kind of an interesting look. I like it though. It's something different. I'm always looking for something different. The other thing about this, if you do have one of these, what I figured out is the really only way to carry this particular gun is in the half-cock situation. And you have to be careful with that too, because if you see that, if it's not fully in the half-cock, you can depress this trigger. And if the trigger guard is not totally covered, this is a rim fire, so if you had a round in there, you know, it could discharge in your pocket. So you got to really be careful. So what I do is I take it all the way back, bring it all the way forward, I depress it, then I go to half cock until I get that little click. And then at that point, you could load, and again, we'll just use for safety's sake, just these spent cartridges right here. And there is a little groove on the side. You see it right there, like it's a little loading gate. And then you turn that around and you use this other spent cartridge here and you load that in there. Now, once that's done, again, you push this little button and it's in play. But let's say again, this wasn't properly like that in half cock. This could go off, or you could bang the hammer and you could go off. Now, the other thing is, if the hammer was down, so let's just turn it that way. If the hammer is down, it's very difficult. If you look at that, the rim actually will depress into the hammer right there. So you got to be really careful with that. So best way, like I said, is to keep it in that half cock position. But again, let's just take that all the way down, and you see what I'm saying. If that was down, it's difficult to get it in. You can turn it, you could force it, but if you see from the top, that hammer is definitely making contact with the rimfire 22, and that's not something that you'd want to have in your pocket. Now, it's interesting, I was digging around through my holster drawer because I said, where am I ever going to get a holster for something like this? And lo and behold, I don't know what this holster was for, but I did find a holster that fits perfectly for that. So if I did want to carry this, it does have a little belt clip. I'm never going to do that. But I probably will just keep it on half cock and then carry it, you know, something like that in a pocket or inside jacket. It's so light, it's only a couple ounces. You really don't know it's there. But in reality, even though it's a two-shot, I would call it a single shot, because if you get that first round off, you know, you'd be lucky. And but to spin that all the way around and get the second one in a time of need would be quite difficult to do. And then you'd have to recock it and do it again. Anyway, so just taking a quick look at something I thought was neat that I found locally. All right, thanks very much for watching, and don't forget to like, share, and subscribe.